All right, y'all. You just watched the short film that we've been working on a lot, and finally was able to premiere that for you all. So now, thank you all. I know that I pretty much always do like streaming, y'all. So I'm used to reading chat on air and stuff. But I promise you all that after I'm done here with this, I'm going to read every single one of these live chats, and I'm gonna read them after we're done here. Uh, but I want you all to know I see these chats, y'all. I really do appreciate all the love, and whew, Alex, were you the one whose heart kind of stopped right now when we barely started showing this? Because I definitely my stomach kind of like fell when I pressed the switch.
No, I was like, well, that's showbiz, man.
This is showbiz, baby.
That's showbiz. That's we're doing it live. That's how
Yeah,
you know we're not doing this pre-takes, man. We're doing this live.
yeah, yeah. But so this is none other than the my wonderful co-host for my podcast. Some of y'all know the podcast. Some of y'all listen, um, and am I have entrusted my wonderful co-host here to go ahead and moderate this Q&A. First, we're going to start off with myself and Alex, and then you're going to be seeing some wonderful people come in and out. And without further ado, Brad, I
Thank you,
guess
Ro. Thank you.
we'll start.
Yep. I just want to say congrats to everyone. That was great. So y'all deserve big round of applause. To those in chat, be sure to put in your questions. I'll look there time to time and ask what I can. And to Raul and Alex, again, great job, guys. So, and I am truly, truly honored, Raul, to be doing this. So thank you for asking me. And basically, I have the easiest job out of this whole thing. I get to sit here at the very end and ask you guys questions. That's my job.
All right.
So let's get into it.
I love that the dogs are just as excited, man.
Right,
It's the same
right.
thing over here on my end.
And I'm 3 floors up. Let's get that.
The dogs are like, whoa, man, that movie was. Oh
It was
man, when's the
amazing.
Criterion coming out? When's the Criterion coming out?
So I have different categories in this. So I'll just get in this.
All right.
Cinematography wise. And these questions were meant for Kelvin, but Raul, Alex, you can answer some of these, I'm sure. From a technical aspect, which was the hardest scene to shoot?
Oof. Granted, I wasn't the cinematographer, but I think what we had the hardest time, and I'm pretty sure Raul can, maybe was some of our more risky ones, was easily the initial bedroom scene where they're listening to the music. That one was a very difficult one because that one was very motion heavy. So it was like having to be able to frame that all and make it move so seamlessly was probably some of the hardest work, as well as just even the door scene. You don't know how many takes we had to go to have like that perfect transition of, just that walking to the door.
Yeah. Raul?
I want to just go and say all of them because everything is difficult when it's like, because we here's the thing, we could have planned all of this before and gotten there, and it still would have been difficult to do it because on day of production a lot of stuff sometimes works and doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
But there was one that I could say that was the most difficult to shoot. um I want to talk specifically about the bar. I want to just thank the wonderful people over at the Kraken Lounge. Danny, especially, thank you so much to Danny for letting us shoot there. The Kraken Lounge, to me, that scene was the most difficult because there were uncontrollables that we could not control. Um, you know, there were things that we couldn't, let's go, really tamper with, that made it a little difficult to shoot more in there. But another one to me that really stood out to how difficult it was, or maybe it was difficult for me to have to let go of the fact that I'm not going to be able to keep this scene, because we originally had a really different scene when Natalia comes out of the car and she walks towards the door, which that scene was beautiful to me when we first shot it. And this one is beautiful too, don't get me wrong. But it was a beautifully, like, movement shot where we were really following Natalia as she was walking to the door, and we had to get rid of that because of continuity errors. And what hurt us the most was the fact that there was a giant freeze storm here in Texas, the beginning of the year of 2021. So there was a lot of plants in that scene that just died. So we couldn't use what was left of that scene, because there was gonna be still something left to shoot, and it was going to be wrong continuity wise. So we had to scrape everything off and reshoot that whole segment. And it kind of pained me a bit to have to leave that scene because I thought it was beautifully crafted the way that we kind of follow Natalia. The focus is going in and out to kind of represent a little bit of the nerves that she's feeling as she's going to the door to confront her mother. And I was just that one was to me the most difficult because I had to kind of leave a shot that I really really liked on the cutting room floor.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What were some films you gained inspiration from for the visuals, framing, lighting, etc. That you shot?
Oh, and this is probably one of the questions I anticipated, honestly, Brad. And I think that Alex can vouch for me here. But if you would have asked me this, simply the question is that there's not a lot of movies that I can grab from specifically about this story to gain some inspiration from, because sadly there is no representation for gay Latinas out there. So there wasn't a lot of stuff that I could say, oh, I'm gonna grab from here, I'm gonna grab from here, and I'm gonna grab from here because I want that to inspire me. What really inspired me for this film was the countless stories of people that I know in the community, and a lot of my close friends. One of them is one of our friends, Brad, Ashley Garcia Sarabia.
Mm-hmm.
Ashley was a really, really big component as to my inspiration behind this movie. Alexandra Almeida, who is one of our incredible consultants, is another big inspiration towards this movie. Sabrina Ramirez, who is one of our consultants as well. There's a lot of people I can go down the line who inspired this movie. But there was no actual film. The only thing I really wanted to grab when I told our crew when we would get there, I want this movie to feel as kind of really intimate as possible. So I wasn't really channeling any director in there, and I wasn't channeling any specific look I wanted to do, but I wanted to create a really intimate romance film at the end of the day, and really intimate coming of age romance film.
I think you really got that, especially with the lighting in certain scenes, the bar scenes, the bedroom scenes. So terrific in that aspect.
Yeah. Oh no, sorry.
Go ahead.
No, yeah, no. Not even going into it, there wasn't a specific there wasn't any specific films that Raul was pointing out. Hey, let's try to do it like this. It was entirely of let's just go with it. Let's go with what feels natural. Let's just kind of capture what we want to tell, and that's exactly what we did. We didn't set out to do anything like anybody, because sometimes when you take inspiration from things, you wear your inspiration a little too much on your sleeve there. So we really tried to go with us. We really tried to tell the story we wanted to, frame it the way we wanted to, and just make it us, make it our film. And it was just as much as, the cinematographer, our actresses, they were so brilliant when it came to everything that we put onto the page. They brought it to life. So it was pretty much just our project.
Perfect. We actually have a question since we're going to editing from our chat over here. Madeline Willers asked, how many hours of raw footage did you end up with?
Ooh.
There was a good amount of stuff that we shot there. Is there anything that I can warrant to give you all a deleted scene? No, everything that was in the script was shot and it's in here.
So no director's cut?
No, there is no director's cut.
Sorry, no Snyder cut, guys.
Stacy wants to know if there's a bloopers reel, so I got to ask that.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure. I got to go look back at my hard drive. But I can tell you from everything that we shot, I think we have 20 or 30 gigabytes worth of footage.
Yeah, we
So
have a good
can you go
amount of
ahead and let
footage.
you know how much we shot?
Yeah, we have a like, memory wise. We shot hours upon hours upon hours. Our actresses can tell you we went through takes so many. We went through so many takes. We shot the same scene for hours upon hours. So it was a long process, but nothing was on the cutting room floor that we didn't want to. There was maybe some angles that we didn't use, some different shots that we didn't use, but anything to warrant, like you said, a director's cut? Nah, not really. No, everything that was on the page was on the film.
Okay, good deal. Um, what was the thinking behind, and how did you determine where to transition from scene to scene?
I'm gonna go ahead and give you an update. Sorry, Brad. From all our footage that we shot, we actually have a 1.5 terabyte full of footage. Yeah,
I think I remember you telling me that earlier.
yeah, we have a 1.5 full terabyte of footage. So thank you to Lassier for making a 4 terabyte because that really came in handy. I'll tell you that right now. But Brad, can you please repeat that question for me?
Of course, of course. What was the thinking behind, and how did you determine where to transition from scene to scene?
I specifically wanted to do that the transition. If you're talking about like the fade-ins,
Yeah,
I
did like going from like the bar to the bedroom,
oh,
like
okay.
just deciding kind of where you wanted that story to go.
Um, I specifically really wanted to reinforce the idea that this literally takes place in 2 days. So day one is the dinner. Day two is I'm sorry, 3 days. Day two is like all the stuff between Natalia and Brianna, and then day three is the confrontation going back home. But I wanted to keep the transitions from scene to scene, especially in day two, to kind of really give the chance to Yeti and Angie to really kind of give that relationship meaning, so you could really feel um, that Brianna was Natalia's anchor, and that was kind of something that I kept reinforcing to Angie at on set. And I told her, Angie, there's moments in this movie where you really can't come out here and do a lot for her, but you have to really be her anchor, and you're gonna have to hold her down for her so she can go ahead and maneuver the situation. So I wanted to really reinforce that at the end of the day, no matter where they were in the transitions of those scenes, Brianna was always there next to Natalia, and she was always there to have her back.
Okay. Alex, did you have anything to add?
I mean, yeah, no, the transitions trying to make it seem, we really kind of wanted to establish this relationship and kind of just emphasize. There's a lot of things that we wanted to emphasize in terms of just, people's stories. We wanted to make sure that, like, when somebody had something to say, we made sure that they were the central focus of it. And we really did that with the bartender scene with Jewel. We really wanted to emphasize her story. So to kind of really give, context to not only like she wasn't just speaking to our characters, but she was speaking to the person watching. Because I think that's what we really wanted. We wanted to really make this, like we said, like an intimate feel. So if anything, a lot of it, especially the transitions in the scenes themselves, in terms of like different shots, I want to say we really kind of just wanted to make this feel like you were right there with them. You were going through everything with them.
Great, great. Any inside jokes or fun stuff that you want to mention?
Oh, let's
Um,
see. There's a multitude of them.
I'm gonna make Angie laugh here in the Zoom meeting because what's it called? Next up is gonna be Yeti to talk. But during the bar scene, there was a really funny line that really got me before we actually started. I think I think Yeti asked Angie what the whole like why she has like a bruise. She's like, "Oh, my sister hit me. I hate that bitch." Something like that. And then I every time we heard that line when we were editing, we just absolutely died of laughter. And we were just having so much, which I really thank Angie for that because it gave me like some breath, like a little bit of like laughs when we were going through some really hard stuff in the post production. But and I'm looking at her right now and she's like laughing and it's great. But I
It's
love that line.
I don't know how many times we quoted that. I watched it back. I don't know how many times. I watched that scene over and over just for that one little line. Just like, All right, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, the scene didn't upset me after all.
But there was another one, and I think Alex and I will laugh. It took everything in me to not put the fly down as a special guest during a lot of those scenes. The fly, the bee, those are inside jokes that we're gonna laugh a lot about when we talk about this movie because
Yeah, no.
there's
Oh my god.
there's
There's like
so many insects on frame sometimes.
I swear I don't even know. I think we counted about 2 or 3 flies in just the opening dinner scene alone. To we're like, well, we're gonna credit this fly, man. His agent's gonna call us back, and we're really gonna have to be paying royalties. Shit.
If it helps, it wasn't noticeable. I didn't notice it anyway.
When
Yeah.
you sat down and watched it as much as we did,
Yeah,
we
you
we,
caught
we,
everything.
we caught everything.
All right.
Right.
I'm gonna go ahead and give me one more question, Brad, because I'm gonna go ahead and get ready to bring in Yeti here.
Okay, I got a few. I got a few from chat. But I'll try and condense these. Basically, the question: why did you make this film? And coming from Claire, what inspired you to tell this particular story? And then I have one more after that.
All right. I this is gonna be fun to do while I'm trying to expand the frames here to go ahead and get Yeti in here. But what inspired me to make this movie was the fact that I grew tired of not having to see my friends, but not even just my friends, but like the stories of a lot of people that I know within the community, and it was sort of like a frustration that nobody was listening to them, and I wanted to go ahead and put that on screen for them, but also I wanted to specifically reinforce what is my director's statement when we submit it to festivals. The fact that if there's one thing I want you to pull out of this movie is the idea that it doesn't have to be separate identities. Both identities can coexist, and it shouldn't be something that we have to maneuver so hard that it's allowed to both kind of coexist as one. Like you can be gay and Latina. It doesn't have to be Latina and gay. You can be both of them, and it shouldn't have to be a big battle to have to maneuver both identities at the same time.
Okay. And then this last question, I guess, until you pull Yeti in, comes from Michelle. What made you decide to have a more positive reaction from the mother in the script?
Oh wow, that is really good because Michelle has probably read a lot of my scripts. I'm very much a lover of like heartbreak um and the sad ending and but I wanted to give it a happy ending because I didn't want this to be you know the normalcy. It shouldn't have to end up with mom telling Natalia that what's it called that she needs to leave, that she's never going to be her daughter again and she doesn't love her, because I don't think that that's how it should be. I wanted it to be a happy ending because that's what I hope that the world is going to look like, and that I hope that the culture starts to move towards, because it's the right thing. And oh, so sorry. I'm moving Yeti on screen, and that moves it on the stream. But I wanted to go with the happy ending because it's what this story deserves, and it's what the people in the community deserve, and it's the right thing to do.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Let me go ahead and what's called transition here. Introducing to you all the star of Before I Leave, the wonderful Yetlanesi Rodriguez, who plays Natalia. Go ahead and unmute for me, Yeti, please.
Hi. First of all, I want to apologize for muting myself halfway through the beginning of the thing. I thought I was turning off my camera, and
I thought it was funny. Yeah. So I guess I gotta ask. I'm gonna ask all the actresses this. Which scenes were the most difficult to shoot for you, and why?
Um, scenes. I would say the one at the end where I was talking to my mom. Um, I really wanted to show and portray that relationship that they had towards each other. So that was one of my hardest ones because obviously the connection they have towards your mom, you have to show that.
Mhm.
And then just the conversation itself, the way that Denise was talking to the daughter, like it was a good scene, but it's also really hard to shoot. But that was also one of my favorite scenes.
And I guess this is a funny question, but something I noticed. I don't know if Raul wants to jump onto this. Why didn't you guys have coffee cup lids?
I don't know actually. That's props. They just gave them to us and we just took them.
Okay, I just it was a question. Um,
I don't
did
even
you
think
pull?
they had coffee inside of them. It was just
Brad's putting us on the spot, man.
I'm just saying. I'm like, you're gonna spill that on you. I don't know. Did you pull from any personal experiences to play this role?
Um, when it came to the mom relationship, yes, I obviously you have fights with your mom, and you just try to like see both sides, and so I think that would be the mom relationship. Also the relationship I had with Angie. Fun fact: we worked in a project before this, and we were sisters,
Huh,
and we were lovers. So that was very a different scenario. But we the thing is with me and Angie, I wanted to make it as true as possible, and I feel like me and Angie have a really good like relationship in general. So it wasn't too hard for me to feel comfortable around her because I've been around her for a very long time.
okay, okay. And were there actually CDs in that room? Like, was this film for like 1995?
They were there was a lot of CDs. They did
Okay,
have they were real. That was real.
okay. I'm These are questions that I just had like pop up. I just had to ask.
Um,
But thank you. You were great.
yeah, thank you.
Raul, I don't know like who you want to have on. I don't think I've seen any, but let me give it a check before we go. Before I leave. Uh,
Roll credits.
I don't believe so. Yeah, of course.
I'm so sorry. I wasn't even I was unmuted on the stream. This is Angie Sandoval who plays Brianna in our film.
Hi,
Hi.
Angie.
Hi, how are you?
Doing great. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Um, I'm just gonna be honest. I have the same questions just for all the
Okay.
actresses, just to let you know. Which scenes were the most difficult for you to shoot and why?
So the scenes that was most difficult for me to shoot personally, we talked about like they briefly mentioned this, but it was the coffee scene, the coffee shop scene, I'm sorry. Mainly because we
No worries
had
there.
an extra co-star come by a lot, which was the bee. So the bee was like constantly on my face. I don't know why, but it was. And it would just be there all the time. And I didn't want to like move it because one, it's a bee, it's gonna sting me or something. And two, like they just kept rolling. So I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna talk to her while this bee is chilling on my nose or wherever the case may be. So yeah, so that was probably the most difficult scene for me to film, just because there's a lot of bees around us.
Oh, lovely, lovely. And Raul fed you guys, right? Like, no worries there.
I mean, nah, just kidding. Yeah, he fed
Uh,
us.
Again, did you pull from any personal experiences to play this role?
Yes, I did. Although I do identify as a straight female, I do have a lot of friends who are gay, lesbian, queer, and they some of them happen to be part of the Latin and Hispanic culture. And so I kind of took a lot of inspiration with their own stories of coming out to their family, or if some cases they haven't come out because sadly, with not in most cases, but in some cases in the Latin culture, Hispanic culture, it's not really as acceptable as we would want it to be a homosexual. So I took a lot of inspiration with my friends' stories and what they've gone through, and with also like the inspiration of me being there trying to support them and, saying like it's okay and everything like that. So I took a lot of inspiration from that to play this role, because like Raul said, Brianna was definitely a major part in Natalia's life, and especially during this time, because both Brianna and Natalia had completely different stories and different ways of how they came out and their own personal sexuality. So I took a lot of inspiration to play that and to kind of, like Raul said, be the anchor for Natalia.
Okay, great, great. And actually, we do have a few questions coming in. How was it taking direction from Raul? And this comes from our friend Stacy.
Oh man, like I wanted to punch him in the face. No, I'm just kidding.
Get
No,
that.
I'm kidding.
I get
I'm
that.
kidding. No, it was great. If we ever had any question, both me and Yeti would go to him, and we'd be more than comfortable asking him. And I would always tell him, like, if you need me to do it a different way, let me know. But yeah, he was always there for us to tell us like the direction that we needed to go through and things like that. So I mean, it was awesome. Like it was overall a really good experience.
Okay, great. Great. Nice to know that he treats y'all better than he treats me, but okay. Was it difficult to have those close-up shots? This is another question coming from chat.
For me, no, because like as an actress, like I'm used to cameras being in all kinds of angles, maybe the things that I don't really want to be on camera. But at this point, I'm very comfortable with just being in front of the camera. So at this point, no, I don't even feel like the camera's there anymore. I'm just too into the zone of like playing playing Brianna or whatever character I'm playing. So for me, honestly, no, I feel completely comfortable with the camera being up close and personal.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for talking to me.
No,
Appreciate
thank
that,
you.
and great performance.
Oh, thank you.
Next up is the incredible Denise Gomez, who plays our mom, who is making her screen debut here on this film.
Hello.
Hello, really, screen debut. I could not
Yeah.
tell. You were great.
Thank you. Thank you. I am trained in theater though, but not film. So
Again, which scenes were the most difficult for you to shoot and why?
I would say the scene between Natalia and the mom, that one of the first scenes when Natalia comes to back home, and that was the first scene. As an actress, that was the first scene that I had to, that we filmed, and this was my first experience working in film. And so I'm trained in theater, so that it was a little challenging for me, and I was getting overwhelmed with these big cameras. I'm like, whoa, I'm not used to that. So I was a little overwhelmed with that, but working with incredible actress, she made me feel very welcome, and Raul as well. So I started to ease up a little bit.
Great. What was it like working with Raul?
Well, fun fact, Raul was a senior when it was my first year teaching at his high school. So so it was a little it was weird not being his teacher, but him teaching me this time around. So it was pretty cool. He's a great director.
Oh, do we have any high school stories that you can tell?
Well, he was a senior, but I taught his brother, and so his brother Eric was one of my main theater kiddos. So he was my golden boy.
Okay.
So I got to know Raul through his brother Eric.
Okay, great. Did you pull from any personal experiences to play this role?
Well, yes. I am a teacher. I'm a theater arts teacher, and I am also the sponsor for the Gay Straight Alliance Club at our school. And so I have a lot of students that do come out, and usually there have been several cases where I am the first person that students are, they tell me that they, identify as, or they're gay, lesbian, or and it's a safe zone. So, and they know that I am their biggest advocate and I am their supporter. So
Great, great. Well, thank you for talking to me, and great performance. I really could not tell it was your screen debut. You did great.
It's gonna be a little bit weird, guys, because I'm about to let Kelvin in. So let me go ahead and get this fixed up here frame
We're about to
wise.
get weird.
Yeah. So let me go ahead and get that fixed up here. This is gonna be Kelvin's side. Now let me fix up. Uh, Brad's frame. Hold on. I just have to fix this real quick. There we go. Okay. Introducing to you all one half of the uh, directors of photography, camera operators, and one of the assistant cameras on before I leave. I would like to say the Chivo to my Guaron, the Prieto to my Scorsese. This is the only person I want to work with cinematography wise, Mr. Kelvin Kataria.
Thank you, Raul. It's a high honor. I really appreciate that. So,
Hey,
yeah.
Kelvin, how are you doing?
Good to see you, Brad.
Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, sorry for being late.
Nah, that's okay. That's
Running
okay.
a whole art show. So
Glad you can make it.
yeah. glad to be here.
I'll just run this back because I have these categories, so I'm just speaking from those.
Yeah,
From
sure.
a technical aspect, which was the hardest scene to shoot for you?
I'd say the bar scene, just because it was a very intimate scene. I'd never done overhead light. I'd always looked into it, read about it, and thankfully it was definitely, I'd say, probably just one of the harder scenes to shoot. But once we had done that, it helped the dinner scene move along a lot more easily. And also that lighting that we were going for was definitely intimate, but not as intimate as the bar scene. But the reason why the bar scene was the hardest was just because we had this whole bar to work with, and I don't think we had scouted it. We did scout it the night before, but not really gotten dimensions or gotten a lighting plan down. But we knew what we'd wanted, and getting there day of and figuring out a frame. Thankfully, after conferring that with Raul, we pretty much established what we wanted. Um, and that did help out a lot with like future projects that I've done, and like just in general, that was probably the most difficult, just because we wanted it to look like a bar, but also wanted it to look intimate. So give it a down dirty look, but also make it look warm and pretty, and like it makes sense for like two people hanging out at a bar, if that makes sense. So
Yeah, and you definitely have the lighting where it focuses directly on them. So
Right.
I think you got that scene perfect.
Absolutely, just like getting it down 1-to-1. I do wish that I don't ever want to like talk about going back or anything like that, but in the future it has made me look at background a bit more. But also for that scene, I think it made more sense to kind of isolate the two of them together a lot more, because it was their scene and they're having a very intimate conversation with someone who's been through what they've been through.
Mhm.
So it's an eye-opening experience. They're going through some sort of a revelation. It's a very personal scene for them. So we wanted to convey that through the film.
Okay. Were there any films you gained inspiration for like framing, visuals, lighting, etc.?
Raul and I had talked a lot about just films by we'd mentioned Chivo a lot just because we're both Latin American filmmakers, and we had definitely talked about it quite a bit. Come and See story was pretty funny. Yeah. We were on set and we were like, how are we gonna put this together? And then like we were like, let's just do a POV kind of take or shot, because that would be very impactful, or like it would have a lot of like it would bring a lot of like to a certain scene, because you'd be looking directly at Yeti's face, and then it really made it a very powerful part within the film. So like we definitely took some from Come and See, but that's because we just got the film.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a very odd comparison to get a war film, like probably the most depressing war film I've ever seen, into a romantic not coming of age, but like a romance film, pretty
I'm
much.
just glad you didn't say Sallow or something.
I'm sure Raul had some of that in mind as well. But Raul also did mention Bergman, which I don't think we got to explore as much. But when he did mention it, I think with extreme amount of planning, it's getting me excited for what we work on next. Like just to see like how we could frame in like very interesting ways and use blocking to 100% advantage, as opposed to just making it look how your eye would see it. Like just being extreme with the framing, I think would be a lot of fun to do for the project. But yeah, in terms of inspiration, it's always great to talk to Raul because you get plenty of that, and it's always nice to have that at your side.
I asked the actresses this, but what's it like working with Raul?
Working with Raul is very, it's very, it's really, I bet on the crew side, especially for us, it was really easy is not the right word, but he made it comfortable. That I think is Raul's best quality as a director. He's definitely a people's director. He knows how to like just make everyone feel comfortable because he really does care about that. And there's a difference. I've seen it in other directors. Directors do care about other directors I work with do care, but Raul is like grateful to the point as if they're a family, and it's like it's like he if more than anyone understands how valuable it is to have every single little cog working together.
Mhm.
So that was really nice. As Raul mentioned before, I wasn't the DP for the full time, but I'm sure it's hard to switch DPs halfway through in any film in any circumstance. But I'm sure because I mean during my half of like doing the cinematography of this, I felt that my needs and like my like, hey Raul, I need this from you, or like I need to talk to this about like my personal wants, and he met those. He did everything he could to meet those, and I'm very excited for like I said, like that, like this being like a film that we did. I'm very happy to have done it. I'm very proud of it. And just looking at the future, it makes me very excited because working with Raul is like just the amount of consideration he has for people is always so genuine. I don't know what the actor said. I'd love to hear it though. Like if what their reactions were.
Pretty much similar. So
Similar, yeah.
yeah. I do have a question from Aiden.
One more
what
thing
was it
about
like-
Raul though. Passion is another thing that I love. So that's another big thing that Raul 100% has.
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
What was it like working through the pandemic? This goes to Alex and Raul too, since I know they're in the background.
Oh, that was that was an interesting experience. I think that was a learning process personally, and I think Raul can say the same. That was a very big learning process, just trying to like navigate how to. It added a whole depth of other things because, like Kelvin was saying, that we were very much compassionate about the crew and the cast, and that was one of the biggest things that was on our mind. We just wanted to make sure we kept everybody healthy. We wanted to make sure everybody was safe. We wanted to make sure that nothing was happening. So there was constant temperature checks. There was constant just us paying attention to everybody's health. Like, hey, how you feeling? Like, we need to take your temperature. Every scene was like, all right, you take your temperature. Every day, you need to take your temperature. We really just were like stressing uh, as much as we could. Hey, we need to be safe about this. For the entirety of the November shoot, for a fact, I know there because the vaccine wasn't really available until about December. It was pretty much, if you're not an actress, your mask stays on. If you're not in a scene right now, your mask stays on.
Mhm.
Your scenes, your mask is on at all times. We didn't let anybody get too comfortable and be like, okay, maybe I'll take. Nope, we weren't running any chances. We were just making sure that everybody was just healthy and protected because we didn't want anything to happen. We really wanted to make sure everybody was okay.
Another thing that I thought was really interesting was just how our crew had dealt with the mentality of COVID. because everyone, you know, like was tired of it, and we didn't want to be in that situation of being at home anymore. So this for us was an escape to be working on a film, and it was an enjoyable experience. But I remember Raul specifically saying, like, I think it was on it was either at the hotel or after the hotel, and he had said, like, if you feel like down or trodden or like you're exhausted, please come up to us and do not hesitate to tell us that you are like not up to working. But that was not the mentality of the crew at all. I think everyone was just so excited to be on a set and working and doing stuff and being creative. So we didn't have that issue at all, but we had not only like taken into account like safety wise how to treat COVID, which I think we did pretty well, but we had also taken into account like this is a hard time for people, and if it gets too hard, then we're not going to exhaust people at all in that sense. Let's try to make this an enjoyable thing for everybody. So in terms of like how the question is, like, I guess like how it was filming this during COVID, it was a vacation. It was just an escape for me to like do what I love and like not worry about quarantining and like going stir crazy at home, and like it was a way for me to get back on set and just enjoy what I'm doing, I guess. But I'm glad that we did. I'm not saying that we didn't keep it safe or anything like that. I'm just saying like it was a great way to like just make a film, you know.
Oh, you want me to answer that too, Brett? Since
Yeah,
you're
Go
here
for it,
already.
Raul.
yeah.
So it was a big challenge, but anybody who knows me, and I think you specifically, Brad, is that I like my challenges. And I
You
like
seek them
when,
out for sure.
yeah, I like when things get a little bit harder, and I what's it called, it tends to get pressuring, right? And but I tend to kind of like try to do the best. And to me, 100% safety was the first thing on that set. And specifically, like November shoot, that first day when we did that coffee shop scene outside, it was really hot.
Yeah.
It was super hot. Um, so we kept, especially my AD Elizabeth, kept reinforcing the fact that, like, guys, you do not have to be out here right now. If you can't, go back inside to the air condition, drink water, go get a drink from the coffee shop. Please drink something, because what's it called? It was hot, and it would. I'm telling you right now, like there was a lot of time on that shoot, specifically that first day, where I wanted to take my mask off, and I wanted just to like breathe, like deeply, because it was hot as hell. But of course, we had to keep the safety, and we had to keep following those rules. But the big thing specifically that made it really difficult, like that challenge, was because I intended to shoot a little bit of this in Houston. I actually, if you talk to Angie and Yeti, um, we had actually made the decision to come back to Brownsville at the end of that shoot. I said, no, we're not doing Houston. We're not gonna go up to Houston. We're gonna finish it up here, because I felt that it was really like, it was really important to finish it up here. Like it really had that feeling to the film that we wanted. But there's no studios here. Like if I wanted to get studio space specifically at our college to shoot that dinner scene, so we could have had a little bit more control over the audio and stuff. So the pandemic really hindered that, because I wasn't going to be able to go to Houston. I wasn't going to be able to go and do what I wanted to do over there. So I kind of had to like redirect a bit and grab a location for the scene here in Bronzeville, and there was a lot of stuff that I had to do when it come to that. But um, you know, when it came to the pandemic, there was always a little bit of redirecting that needed to be done, and I'm glad that I had a great producer like Alex at my side to kind of say like, hey, dude, like we got this. It's a little bit of a hiccup, but we're gonna find a location. We're gonna find where to shoot.
For Kelvin, was there, because Raul, you already mentioned a scene that you thought you would have loved to add to the movie that was missing. Was there anything missing in this film or something extra that you would have loved to add that you shot?
Oh man. Questions like those, questions like those always like throw me off. Not in a, I don't know if it's in a bad way, but it's always like what could you have done differently? And like we're always taught to, like, as filmmakers, like you got to move on. But I think you always do have that kind of like guilt of like, not guilt, but you have that kind of like reminiscence of how to do something in a different light or way. I would have loved, maybe not changes. I don't know about changing a scene or changing anything like in that sense. I think I just would have loved more time for pre-production and just like had more time to like um set things up, or just maybe draw like just some sort of like plan for the entire film or something like that. But that's not in my that would have been overstepping bounds and whatnot. But I think if I were to change, like maybe like, I don't know if I would change any scenes per se, maybe just like shots, or like maybe get a close up of like, for example, like the mom when she walks in, or like a reactionary insert. Um, Thankfully, I am getting down like my framing a little more and stuff like that. But yeah, I think that would have been it. Not necessarily change a scene, but just more change
And
the details and pre-production of it, and just going into it with a more full-on game plan. Thankfully, I think for my portion of it, I was fairly prepared. Not the most, like not like, I think you get better along as you do more movies and stuff like that. And I think that from this film going on forward, I think it's going to be interesting to see that evolution. But yeah, just like more or less changing up pre-production more than just any scene per se.
Okay. Question from chat from Nathan. Which movie do you think wins best cinematography this year?
It's
I
very
think that's
easy.
for cast and crew.
Yeah, it's going to Greg. There's no way. Not that there
I'm
wasn't good
guessing that's
ones.
Dune, right?
Yeah, not that there wasn't good ones, but there's just an unbeatable one right now. So
I don't know. I love Pig. I'm just saying. Yes, sir.
And finally, introducing to you all the composer for Before I Leave, the incredible David Benitez. David B. Music.
Hey everybody, hello.
Hi, David. How are you doing today?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing well. Yeah, your score was terrific throughout this film. So
Thank you.
really helped make a lot of the scenes. Yeah. So there's a certain scene near the end of the film where Natalia is going to see her mother. She's walking towards the door after she's revealed she has a girlfriend. It sounds almost horror-esque to me. Was there a particular reason for this choice?
Yeah, the reason was Raul. He's told me make it tense, and I was like, "How tense?" And he said, "Bro, really tense." And I was like,
We
"I
hit
got
that.
you." You
Raul,
said really tense. You got really tense.
Raul, you want to add to that? Is that kind of the gist of it?
Are you talking about the scene leading up to the door?
Yeah,
Yes.
scene leading up the door
Yes.
where it's like the score is almost like horror-esque to me. It's just like are we switching here, and like I'm about to walk into like Jason on the other side of the door?
No, but that would have been a great switch up of the genre if when she opens the door, Miss Gomez is just like a grand monster Cthulhu type, right? That would have been funny. I really wanted that scene to feel really tense because, and Yeti's not on the screen right now. What's it called here in the Zoom meeting? But there were things that I caught when we shot that I loved from Yeti, like the way that she would like grab her hands, and like she would put them back. You could feel that she felt really, really nervous. So I needed music that felt very tense because, like I explained it to Yeti on set before we did this, I said, this is probably one of the most important scenes we can get to right now because not a lot of women in our culture get the chance to confront the matriarch of the family, the patriarch of the family. It's not possible. It's a privilege that not a lot of people in the community have. So I said, I need this to feel as nerve-wracking as you can make it feel because this is something that you don't know how it's going to go. Of course, Yeti read the script. She knows how it's going to go. But for somebody who is in that situation, when you reach that door, you don't know how that's going to go. So I needed the music to convey that.
Oh yeah, you made it very, very tense to the point where I thought the mom was like, "Get your stuff and go." And I mentioned this to you earlier. I'm just like, I didn't realize she was just going back to college. That made it like a lot more breathing room. I thought she was just kicking her out at that point. But it was I'm liking how you ended it.
But that,
Um,
yeah, but that is the point of the music, right? Because up to that point, like even me watching the film, you're always kind of expecting like you hope it goes well, but like
mhm.
knowing Latino culture, me being like Mexican American, you always kind of know what the usual tendency is for our older relatives in that older generation to feel about homosexuality and all that stuff. So even then, like even though I saw it ultimately right before I scored it, and I knew how I was going to go, I wanted the audience to still kind of have that fear of like, dude, some shit's about to go down. It's not going to go good.
Yeah.
So when you get that ultimate relief at the end, it's like, oh wow, and then you have what I wrote at the end with the chill beat and stuff like that. Because I wanted to be like, yeah, dude, it's all chill. Like everything worked out. So
That worked perfect. Um,
thank you.
was there a song in the film that was your favorite, or you had the most fun making?
Besides the horror movie esque music, man, when Raul told me like, dude, I need you to write something Deftonesy, I was like, bro, that's my jam. I got you, bro. So that was really fun. And then I really loved to, yeah, give me some of that new metal. The only thing missing was some DJ
Biscuit.
scratches. But I think really, if I may go into it a little bit, what I had fun was like writing the theme for the movie and integrating that theme into all the various little different pieces that I wrote throughout the film. So there is like a theme that I wrote, and it's like the love theme of the movie. And I was like, how do I, interpret this in different ways? And really the fun part was like Raul being like, I want to just be sad piano. And I was like, there's the theme. It's like, oh, there's a movie scene and I want there to be like an orchestra. And if you listen closely to the violin specifically, there's a theme. And then also in the bar with the Tejano music, the things being played there. And at the end too, with the lo-fi kind of chill beat, the themes being played ultimately in that too. That was really the most fun, is like integrating the theme into like everything. Because ultimately, like the movie is about, the the love story really. And I wanted that to really be portrayed throughout the entirety of the film.
I honestly thought the music in the bar scene was a bop, because if you saw me, I was just kind of like going like this. That just had me.
Also too, like I know all of us have been in like Tejano bars too. Like it kind of has to also be kind of like monotone almost. Like it's just kind of the same beat over and over again. The same.
That's probably just my ADHD. Just like,
yeah, I can keep up with this.
But speaking of the movie scene, what movie was playing in the background? This is for everyone in the background too. I know the answer, but it was asked in chat.
That was an incredible film made by Kelvin Kataria here, and John Decker Gland, and a lot of other wonderful people called Queen of Monaghan's.
And was that the original movie playing when you did that scene?
No,
No.
that was not.
It was something brought up to me by Raul. He was like, hey, what film did you want to put up actually?
So the original idea, before I would get in trouble for copyright infringement, was actually a movie I asked Yeti, Angie, and Gomez to watch, and I don't know if they did, but I asked them to please watch Portrait of a Lady on Fire, because I felt that that movie perfectly encapsulates unrequited love, but also I had never seen a relationship handled like that before, where it felt like really like pensive, and it felt really like, it felt like so natural, and I kind of wanted a little bit of mimicking of that. But of course, like, to answer also your question about the pandemic, Brad, I wanted, if the pandemic didn't happen, I really wanted Yeti and Angie to like spend more time with each other, to really get that feeling down of like of a relationship.
Like going
But
different places,
yeah,
kind
like
of.
take maybe like one day out of your week to just spend with each other, and like, keep growing that chemistry. But of course, when they got on set, these two just had great chemistry to begin with. so I didn't really need them to do that. But I originally was going to put Celine Sciamma's Portrait of a Lady on Fire on that screen, and we did shoot a scene with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mainly because I really wanted to kind of get for that theater scene. I wanted to get the persona shot. If you know that shot, where it was the
Yeah.
half face. I really wanted to kind of channel that in there, and of course I wasn't be able to. But unless I wanted to get in trouble with copyright, I could not keep that film in there. And so I decided to put Queen of Monaghan's, and I kind of like how it ended up because in the scene it has this like girl looking down on them two watching them. So like in a way it felt like to me if it was framed well enough to have that, but like those kind of pensive eyes to me read of like, oh, like I kind of want what they have right there.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't mind using that. If it wasn't going to be Queen of Monaghan's, I was probably going to put Beyond the River up there. But fun fact, when mom is watching television, when she walks in, she's actually listening. She's actually watching Beyond the River, and you can hear it. And
Yeah.
thank you, Alex, for that. That really.
You're
But,
very welcome. It's like my one error of the day.
yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Now you and Yeti are one for one.
Yep.
But yeah, that's that. To answer your question, that's that, Brad.
Okay.
It was actually really funny how it was brought up too, because I remember Raul, you were like, I really want to put it up there, but can we like frame it up and like make it out of focus enough so that like it's not up there, and like we and then I was like, I looked up, so I was like, we can set it up and see, and then we did. And then we just looked at the view. We were like, it's. You could see, you could see your
it.
face.
Yeah.
It's right there.
We even started messing with the projector, and we're like, let's just make this as out of focus as possible.
Yeah.
It still can notice.
We were
We're
not
like-
gonna get away with
We're
it.
like, yeah, no, we're gonna need a copyright lawyer after this, so we're just like, you know
Yeah.
what, let's just take this out.
Let's not
Exactly.
do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, going back to David. I guess my last question for you is, what's it like working with Raul?
Might be the last time, honestly.
Unprofessional.
Just the worst. Late hours,
this is juicy
late
now.
nights. Nah, man, he was great. He gave me very minimal notes, which is like, as a musician and creative, right, is very liberating, but also kind of like a little bit of like, I get a little trepidation. It's like, just do what you want, because usually, right, do what you want usually means like, I have no idea, just make a bunch of stuff and then maybe I'll pick one or two things, right? So I was like,
Mhm.
oh, is this guy going to kind of waste my time? But like, luckily I kind of knew where he was coming from and what he wanted. So pretty much everything I wrote, he was like, this is perfect. Like maybe a couple of tweaks here and there, but like the ideas themselves were already like pretty solid, and what we talked about was like there. So where it was quick. I think I wrote it in like a week or something like that. So yeah, he's fun to work with, man. And like just being able to like, again, like the vision of the theme, and like, I'm just going to integrate the theme all over the movie. It's like, I love that idea. Go for it. Let's see what happens. So it was legitimately a blast, and he was fun. So yeah, I really have no complaints. I would work with him again in a heartbeat. Real talk. So-
Raul and Alex, do you guys ride around in your cars or just on your MP3 players, just listening to the music over and over?
This is in 2005, bro. We don't have MP3 players anymore.
Whatever, phones.
All right.
I am.
Yeah, you had
Granddad.
CDs in there and coffee cups without milk.
Listen,
I don't want to hear
Granddad,
it.
I'm still pushing for the vinyl pressing of this. Okay, let's.
Yeah. Yeah, I am patiently waiting for that score to be up on Spotify because I do want to listen to some of those songs.
Sam, I think probably my favorite one is probably the lo-fi, just because it really kind of encapsulates that feel of like everything's calm now. We're fine now.
We're good.
Yeah. My favorite is the Tejano, of course. I'm not going to do a disservice to my culture today. The Tejano song is my favorite. Also because I am a lover of Tejano. I love Tejano, and that song is one that I'm definitely gonna be replaying a lot when it goes on Spotify.
So just as a funny tangent, just how like David was talking about it, we did tell him we did tell him like, yo, let's make this just like 90s new metal, because And going back to even one of the earlier questions is like, do you have any like inside stories? It's like, okay, so one of the original lines in the script that we ended up taking out, and no one knows, is that we just name drop Deftones.
Yeah.
So every time that we're just editing this, I'm like, yo, what happened? You couldn't get Chino on the phone or what?
Yeah. Well, I couldn't keep that line because I don't actually own White Pony on CD. So so Angie really couldn't pick up White Pony and be like, "Oh, look, it's White Pony." Also, I don't know if I can get in trouble for showing White Pony on screen. I don't know the extent of copyright law, and I'm not trying to test the boundaries
Like a
of it.
shout out. If you play the music, that's a different issue.
Okay, so but I can actually show the CD.
Show the album art.
Yeah, you should be fine.
Okay, well, you know what? Either
mean,
way,
there's
I
plenty-
don't own White Pony.
There was
That's
plenty.
the thing.
Let's be honest. There was plenty of other things in that room, like the Marvel shots that Deftones was the least of my worries. I was worried the mouse was going to come and get me.
Thank you to Luis who let us use his house, and that's his room, by the way. Those are well, some of those are my decorations, but a lot of those were Luis's decorations. I don't know if you could catch the sword in frame. I don't think you could catch the sword in frame, but there was like a sword there too that he had hanged up. Yeah, but yeah, I can't wait to listen to that Tejano song, bro. I'm patiently waiting for that album to be up on Spotify.
I'll try to drop the score within the month. I probably for anyone who knows, right, I work in the Modown, so like the next couple of weeks are just chaotic to finish the season. But probably after that season's over, like that second week of December, I'll be working on it and hopefully get it up soon so everyone can go listen to it if you're so inclined. So yeah.
Thank you, David. Great score.
Again.
Yeah, we can get everybody in frame.
Thank you all so much for y'all who are still here watching with us.
Yeah.
Of course, we all really do appreciate you all being here. After this, we are going to be a bit silent now. And Kelvin, I caught that reference. After this, we're going to be a bit silent until we get our festival, what's called acceptances and stuff like that. But I really do thank everybody for being here and thank you all for watching the film. To everybody who's here, Miss Gomez, David, Kelvin, Yeti and Angie, thank you all so much for your hard work. It really means a lot. I know this won't be the last time that I work with y'all because I think I told especially both of y'all, I said, I'm thinking about you for the next one. I don't really, believe in the idea of directors writing roles specifically for actors, but I am itching to get back to work with a lot of y'all. So chances are that I might just write a role for you just to get you back on that screen. Because it was great working with you. And I promise to you, Ms. Gomez, this being your screen debut, you did a great job. And I'm happy that I was able to work with you because you were the only person I had in mind to play mom. I needed somebody who radiated that very beautiful motherly vibe and that motherly, feeling. So you were the only person who I had in mind. And I think that after you got used to the cameras being in your face and the lights being on your face, you ended up giving us a performance that was well worth all the hard work. So y'all can unmute, by the way. We're in the wide shot. So I thank you all so much.
Woo!
I'm going to go ahead and let Alex say anything before we go ahead and get out of here and we all say goodbye.
Yeah, no. So again, like I mentioned at the top, thank you to everybody, backers, cast, crew, from the bottom of my heart. It was amazing to work with each and every one of you. This entire experience was wonderful. I met so many new people. So many new friends, and I honestly cannot wait to work with each of you again. It was a privilege. The actresses, Angie, Yeti, Miss Gomez, everybody, you were excellent. I loved watching all of your performances. All of you literally warmed my heart when I saw it just coming from page to real life. It was great. There were literally moments when I was watching it, both in editing and when we were filming, I teared up. It was great. I loved it. Kelvin, you were great. I loved how much you brought to the cinematography side of it. There was so many shots that I was like, this is beautiful. This is like wonderful. This is really this film that Raul and I were like talking about coming to life. David, your music, I loved listening to it the entire time that I was editing. I, if anything, I was like just like jamming out to it the entire time. I loved it. It was just a wonderful experience, and thank you all for just putting your heart and soul into this film.
Yeah. Thank you to Brad
Yeah.
for moderating. Thank you for
Of
Brad for
course.
moderating the Q&A, man. And I specifically want to thank us also the wonderful Busola Vallejo who couldn't be here today. Thank you all. Thank you so much, and I hope that their journey in film school is going well. I know that they're busy as hell right now, but their input into the film was just as important as any of ours. So I thank them, especially because they were our intimacy coordinator, and when they couldn't make it, Elizabeth was our intimacy coordinator. So their input into how the scenes and the kisses reflected on screen were very very important, and I really do respect and love the input that they had in the film. Our wonderful actresses, do we have anything else to say before we get out of here?
No, just thank you guys for supporting, and I really hope you guys enjoyed the film. We really enjoyed filming it, and like we said, we really enjoyed bringing awareness to this community. And yeah, thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Also, just thank you to everybody. Thank you to Raul for giving me the opportunity to be part of this. And I really hope that people who look like us and also who are identify as homosexuals are able to relate to this film, because we really did our best to really bring to life this love story that isn't normally told.
Ms. Gomez?
I just want to say thank you for the experience at Raul. This was really amazing, and it was really nice working with the actresses as well.
Right. And my wonderful other people, my Kelvin and my David. Anything else you want to say before we get out of here?
I just want to say, just Raul, thank you for taking me out of COVID and just bringing me back to the world that I love and know, and for just overall like having that set is one of the best memories I have being on a set. And it taught me how to treat my people better, and just how to like be maybe not more humble but more like um compassionate because of the support you get from the people around you and having them at your side. So thank you for inspiring me to be better on my own sets. It really means a lot, and I'm excited to do it again. Thank you.
David?
Dude, this was a blast. Thank you so much for trusting me with this. I had a lot of fun. Thank you for the environment to be creatively inspired and all that stuff. And also, when's our next wrestling watch along? It's been a minute.
Oh yeah. We gotta plan that one. What's it called? But this ain't the Nerd Club, bro. This is Cyclops Films.
Oh,
But don't worry, I'm playing with
I mean,
you,
you
man.
have
What?
everyone from the nerd core like here.
I know,
so.
I know. I'm
what have
fucking
we been
with
doing this whole time?
What channel were we on?
This isn't on Twitch. I'm
No, we're
contractually
not on
obligated.
Twitch. I'm contractually obligated to only be on Twitch. Bro, I'll hit you up about that. But as always, y'all, I really do thank you all for being here. To keep up to date with Before I Leave's journey, make sure you follow us on Instagram under Before I Leave Film. And go ahead and follow the wonderful actresses here. Yeti is under Yolanesi Rodriguez, right?
Yes, Yetranesi Rodriguez with two Z's at the end.
Okay. And Angie is Angie San or something like that?
Yes, it's Angie San 97 because Angie Sandoval was taken. So
Yeah, and I know that Miss Gomez doesn't do social media, so we'll keep an eye posted for her next screen presence. But of course, Kelvin.
Kelvinator _ get down, www.kelvinkataria.com, and you'll see this and 3 other shorts on the short film circuit. So excited to see where they go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
David. Yeah. David.
You can find me everywhere at David B Music 21 on Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah. Of course, Alex and I, you can catch most of our work on Cyclops Films. But for most importantly, the stuff you're gonna have to find is gonna be at Before I Leave Film. So keep an eye posted, y'all. When we start getting those words from festivals, you're gonna be seeing a lot of stuff being posted on there. And in the meantime, we hope that everybody had a wonderful night. This is us saying goodbye. And in the meantime, my friends, relish in the fact that you are the only people who are going to be able to see this film for now. There's nobody else who's going to be able to see it. So, goodbye, everybody.